Hi, I'm Sandy Romoser, President of Guest Worldwide, a division of Sysco. To me, breaking the bias is about taking personal responsibility to challenge behaviors and actions that perpetuate the stereotypes that limit women's ability to pursue the career and the life they really wish to have and are capable of. Examples of those things are women won't be successful in certain types of career roles, a woman not being considered for a role or given an inferior role, or an assumption is made that she's not committed enough to perform well in a role because of personal responsibilities. I feel we'll only break the bias when we all collectively commit to actively influencing and changing these behaviors and actions. So I really feel fortunate in my career overall, but I certainly have experienced bias in my career. And when I have encountered it and I was aware of it, because often you're not aware that it's going on, but when I was aware of it, I've always viewed it as a challenge to first prove someone wrong, and second, make sure they then put two and two together. A quick example of that is earlier in my career, I asked to be considered for a food service business development leadership role. And I was point blank told that the company really felt they needed a man in the role because the job required the leader to deal with CEOs and CFOs of large food service chains. They did put a male in that role, but that year I and my team proceeded to bring on the two largest customer wins in the company, beating out the person who was leading that business development role. And the success didn't get me that job, but it did get me noticed by others within the organization and led to greater opportunity for me. But most importantly, it was a lesson for that first manager, and it not only made them challenge their own paradigm, they became one of my biggest fans. And after that male left that role, they actually did put a female in the role. So I consider that an example in my career where I have helped to break the bias. I do have many years of experience in the food service industry, and I love food service. It's really nothing like it. And people who leave food service want to come back to food service. Succeeding in food service, there are so many opportunities. And I would say, first of all, to succeed, you have to know that you're ultimately in charge of defining what success means to you. It means something different to everyone. Second, you have to believe in yourself and have self-confidence. Third, I think nothing replaces hard work, and you also have to have a desire and willingness to always be learning new things. And last, I think you have to know where you want to go, what it takes to get there, and be willing to do what it takes to get there. And most importantly, make sure others know what it is you want. Yeah, I've had many roles where I've experienced imposter syndrome because I've moved from one function to another many times during my career. And so I may have not had the functional excellence when I was taking on a new role. And I have to say, the first time I ever felt it, I did not navigate it too well. In fact, my manager sat in my office about 6 months into the role and basically said he wanted me off of the business. Fortunately, I had developed allies in the company who came to my defense. And while I was given the option to leave the role for another one if I wanted to, I didn't want to. I knew I could do the job. I just needed support to help me learn the ins and outs of the business and the empowerment to accomplish the goals my way and not just the way my manager wanted it done, which was what was really causing the conflict. In the end, I was really successful in the role, and that manager wanted me to stay and not leave when another opportunity was offered to me in the company. But the lessons I really took away from that helped me for the rest of my career. I've been fortunate to have a few male advocates in my career, and I think what made them my advocates was my performance, my attitude, and my ability to overcome adversity. No matter what the challenge was, I worked not just to meet the goal, but I worked to exceed the goal. I also viewed myself as an owner of the business and not just doing a job. I offered suggestions to improve things across the business, came to the table with new ideas, offered my opinion on what was going right or wrong. And I would bring them solutions, not just talk about what was not going right or what the idea was, but I would bring them solutions, right? And as they saw this play out over and over again, as either I was in the same role or as I took on new roles within the company, they became an advocate. And soon they were actually bringing my name up for new roles that were opening up in the company because they knew, my performance from the past. So if you're consistently successful in your work and contributing beyond your role, building trust, you'll be successful in building advocates.